picking up a little bit from last time. Last time we read Nicholas Kristof's advice for saving the world. And it was all about this article in Outside Magazine about how many more millions and millions of lives we would save. Basically, if we just communicated a little bit better, if we just took the lessons from Hollywood, if we just took the lessons from the advertising world, if we took those same lessons, that same intense focus these other disciplines had, and apply it to like advocacy, global health, conservation, all these different causes, then we would get so much farther in life. But that's not what we're doing. There's this one excerpt in particular that I thought is especially relevant to what we were talking about last time. Just the first and the last little bit of this. The recent research in social psychology offers a couple of central lessons. The first is a bit surprising. We intervene not because of stories of desperate circumstances, but when we can be cheered up with positive stories of success and transformation. This is what I'm talking about for the heaven that we're trying to lead scientists to. In narrative terms, the heaven is this future ideal world where everything goes according to plan, where all your global health initiatives work out, or your scientific research comes through and you get the results you think you're going to get. What would the positive outcome of that be? What kind of boon to humanity would we gain from that? Scientists, academics, some entrepreneurs are not good at laying out the case, at really explicitly stating how much better the world would be. Now, jumping here to the end, the irony, altruism creates its own selfish reward. Or to put it another way, nobody gains more selfish pleasure than those who act selflessly. So if you want to get people on board with your cause, you need to paint a picture of a better world, of a heaven, of something that is worth striving toward. So many disciplines get this right, and so many causes have got this right in the past. We constantly use this example in our training. This is the basically the first paragraph from MLK's I Have a Dream speech, in which he balanced the forces of heaven but hell, therefore action, again and again and again, like going from one to the other and back again, always setting up that perfect heaven, repeating it, what it'll be like in different aspects again and again, and then like going back to the hell that we're in right now. Just this beautiful balance. Like this first like little line we have here in blue. 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Okay, that's kind of an earth statement. That's just kind of a neutral. Here's the subject matter that we're talking about, the Emancipation Proclamation, the freeing of the slaves. Now we get into heaven. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak, heaven, 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 to end the long night of captivity. But, and here MLK goes to dig the hole of hell pretty deep, repeating over and over again hellish statements to make his point, and then finally ending with the action to take us what he hopes will take us out of this hell and back to this heaven that they were promised. And there's it's this great balance all throughout the speech of him kind of going back and forth between heaven and hell. Every time he gives the statement, I have a dream, he paints like another specific as to how good heaven could possibly be, really clarifying what they're striving for. And this was important to do. This was a time of great uncertainty, great unrest, and his opponents were probably assuming that, oh, this was just something he was doing to try to disrupt the status quo and bring this kind of hellish landscape to the world, to the United States. And he tried to make as clearly as possible make the case as clearly as possible, no, that was not the case. So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day This nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, beautiful imagery, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a little contradiction there, but that's okay, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, getting more into hell, but we're going to go right back, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and injustice, like constantly shifting back and forth, but more emphasis on the heaven, you'll note. I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of the character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, and the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. Talk about painting a very, very, very clear picture of heaven. Now, how was he able to do this so easily? But scientists seem to have such a difficulty with this kind of thing. We talked about this a little bit last time. That according to Randy, his theory is that scientists, academics, researchers are very literal-minded types, and this kind of non-literal thinking isn't natural to them. It's not something that's very intuitive, especially since from probably like a very young age, if you're going to be a scientist, then from 18 and on, you're trained in very literal thinking. I think another factor is a little bit of a culture issue in that scientists, academics, researchers, all these different people in all these different disciplines that are trying to save the world, they spend 90% of the time, roughly, at their work, in their discipline, with people who think the same as they do, who understand at a deep, kind of intuitive level why this is important, why should they care, what the heaven is going to be one day. And so after years and years and years of never having to explicitly state why this is important, why should we care, what are the great rewards we will get if we follow this path, they are not in the practice of doing that. They like, it's like they probably get some like neurological training to never have to do that, to just get right to the problem. Get right to the problem, because that's what everyone in this inner circle expects, to just get right to the problem. And then, but then when they go out to the outer circle, when they go out to the general public and try that same approach, they don't get as far. They hit brick walls, and they don't really understand why. So, I think regardless of which is right, and it's probably a little bit of column A, it's probably a little bit of column B, the literal mindedness or the training and not doing it, the accidental training and not doing it, I think the answer is basically the same. Practice. Practice and focused awareness. Awareness that this is something you have to do. Step one is always awareness. Awareness that there is a problem, that by not doing this, you are losing ground. You are not going to as easily be able to further your agenda and heal the world, make it a better place. Awareness and practice. Now that you're aware that this is something you need to do, you need to consciously, mindfully practice laying out your agenda as to why this is important. And as Nicholas Kristof said in his article, why is this important? Why is it important that scientists are able to do this? That researchers, academics, advocacy groups, global health initiatives. Why is it important that they all do this? Because millions of lives are at stake. Because you'll be able to help so many more people by being able to do this. You'll be able to advance the cause of science. You'll be able to help people so much more in low resource settings. You'll be able to make strides toward healing the environment. That's why you have to put extra focus into this, because it's what works, it's what gets people engaged, it's what gets people directed to helping to heal the world.